Today we're going to look at a brand new E.D.C carry rig, and I thought the best place to start, instead of starting on the gun, would be the part that almost everybody overlooks. Most people, when they decide to have a nice everyday carry, they run to the gun store and they look through a whole bunch of different pistols. Maybe they research sometime on YouTube, but they always overlook the most important part of your everyday carry gun package, and that is something to carry it in. So I have done that many times in the past, but I thought today we would look at some leather. And we're going to be carrying a Commander size 1911 in a 45 caliber, but I wanted something I could strap it onto my body with that'd be good and stout, last me a lifetime. So I went with 1791. This is a top-notch company. They make some very high quality leather. You can see this here. They took a brown cow and a black cow and sewed it together. And I keep this lubed up with some nice mink oil, golden mink oil. This is what I use right here. This is good stuff, golden mink oil, and that keeps it dust free and keeps it limbered up good. But that's a very high quality holster. You can see now, I like these over the K-Dex. K-Dex always have a bunch of little fasteners and things that can break. And this one, man, you could ride a horse with this. You could go out and work on the farm. You could get into a wrestling match with somebody, go down to the ground. You're not going to break that holster. That thing is built, I mean, it is built. It's built like a tank. It's got extra heavy thickness there. It's got real heavy professional stitching. When you put your belt through there, that thing is going to be there when the morning comes. I've actually put this on and slept in my easy chair, fell asleep watching a movie. I fell asleep in the bed with it and just rolled around, and I've been in the car with it. I've got it where this holster fits my body. It's been sweaty, been wet, it's been super hot. I have tested this thing. It's been scratched up a little bit, but I don't cry about that. I'm not a crybaby. I'm not a snowflake. I don't have to have everything perfect. I want something that's heavy duty. If it's got a few wear marks on it, that's just character. So now the thing that I like about this, it fits my gun perfect. We're going to get into that when I draw the gun out. But you can have a nice holster, but you don't want some little wimpy nylon plastic belt or something from the dollar store. You want to get a good quality belt. So that's where the belt comes in. Same company, 1791. They make this heavy duty belt. Now I'll show you some features about this I really like. For one thing, it's made out of a black cow, and it's heavy duty American leather. It's got heavy duty hardware right here. Now here's what's really cool about this. If you get a belt and the belt's a little bit too big, you can always, instead of taking it out, now this is a part I hate to see people do, that's got a little bit of mink oil in it. They'll take a belt like this. It's a really good quality belt. You can see they stamped it right there, 1791. See that? 1791. They'll take a belt like this and they'll take a punch and try to punch a hole in that, or try to drill it with a drill bit. And all they needed to do is move just a little bit. But it's better to do this. Better to go on this end. Then if you're not quite so professional, you could take this end of the belt and trim off a little piece if the belt's too long, and punch your holes here even with a drill bit or with a nice leather punch. Get your holes reformed, recinch your belt down, and then you could have it the exact right length. Or maybe you want a cowboy buckle on here or some kind of a fancier buckle. This is a nice heavy duty buckle. It's got the roller. I like that. It's like a cam roller tip on the old cam rollers. It reminds me of that. But when you're drawing your belt through there, you can draw it nice and tight, and it keeps the friction to a minimum. But you can do that. You can put you a different belt buckle, or you can shorten the belt here and then drill it and reattach it and make it an inch or two shorter, you know, as you're losing weight and getting healthier. So this is an excellent belt. I really like it. I've already worn this quite a bit, and it fits. I'm going to show you this on the holster. It fits the holster good too. When you go through this holster, I go through like that, then I go through one loop on my jeans, and then pull it like that, go through. It fits perfect, and I got that mink oil on there, so it glides good. It's just happy as can be. And that holster, you'll notice it's got just a little bit of a cant on it. Doesn't mean you can't do it. It means it's at an angle. And so it's on my strong side, and you can see if my belt was like that, parallel to the ground, you can see that holster's got a slight forward cant, which means when I go to draw that gun out, it comes out and it's happy and ready to go to work. It's a nice tool. So we'll put the gun in there in a little while, but I just wanted to show you the 1791. Say, what is that 1791? That's the year that they kicked the Second Amendment into the Constitution. The first is a great amendment, the freedom to speak and say what you want to say, talk to your government, but if the government or whoever doesn't like what you've got to say and they decide to tell you that you have to be quiet, that's when the Second Amendment comes in, and you can show up with your pistol and your rifles and say, let's talk about this some more. And you can say what you need to say, and you can back it up with some teeth. You got to be able to have that. If you don't, then you're in a banana republic. We're not a banana republic. This is still the good old US of A. Thank God for Mr. Trump. So he's bringing some good folks on board. I do like in the state of Arkansas that we can open carry. So now I've got the proper leather. I've got the nice 1791 leather. I've got the proper holster, heavy stitched, double where it needs to be, single where it doesn't. And they have just steamrolled this thing right onto a frame of a 1911 and made it fit perfect. And they tell you how to break these in. Now you do need to wrap your gun up, and I wrapped mine in 3 dollar store bags and then shoved it down in there. It makes your gun seem a little bit bigger to the leather. Now, I let it sit overnight, and that's just how I did it. Some people say 30 minutes or 42 minutes or an hour, 1.25 hour. I don't do that. I just shoved it in there and set it up in a good safe place. And when morning came, I drew it out, pulled the plastic bags off, and knowing it would make the leather stretch just a little bit, a few thousandths, and then shoved my gun back in there, and it just fit perfect. And you don't have to worry about somebody slipping up behind you and drawing your gun out. That thing's leaning forward anyway. They're not going to do that. I'm just not going to let somebody slip up on me and take my gun away. We'll take care of them a different way first. So 1791. Get yourself some good leather before you start shopping. Before you even buy your E.D.C, get your leather holster and a good solid leather belt like a man would wear. Women can wear these too, of course, but something manly, womanly, something tough that will get the job done. 1791. Don't mess around with these other cheap chicken of Chinese companies. You don't need to do that. This is a good American company. It's real leather from real cows. They were happy, and now they can become part of your life. You can eat their steaks and their hamburger and then wear them. Wear them on you. Enjoy the cows that the good Lord's blessed us with. So thank you to 1791 for sending this out. Thank you for the ones that I purchased. Thank you for the ones that you sent out as samples. A wonderful sample belt, and I'm looking forward to shooting this, wearing it, shooting it as an everyday carry, and thank you very much for that. So, without further ado, let's take a look at what Mr. Springfield Armory has built for us. Now, I went through a long list of things that I wanted this pistol to do for me, but let's look at what comes in the box first. What's in the box? They have done away with the crazy heavy-duty plastic box. Those are gone. That's just a waste of money really in most cases. This is a nice little carry case. You can take it to the range like this. I don't use these that much. I keep my gun strapped to my hip. So there's the pistol. Let's just lay that out like that. That's a beautiful looking rig, man. They did a great job. And now we've got a two-tone holster, and we've got a two-tone pistol. The holster is light reddish tan and black, and then we've got the black and the tan color in it, and here we've got a black and a tan color on the pistol. So let's see if those go together. I think they will. I think that'll be a good marriage. Let's just put that like that. Shove that in there. What do you know, man? That's a good looking rig right there, isn't it? That thing is nice looking. I love that. That's a good fit. This is made for a 5-inch gun. I bought it that way on purpose. That way I can use this for my, on the farm, my target gun, or my nice little shorties like this in the commander size. So That's a great look. So we'll lay that aside. That's a 1791. Let's take a look at this pistol. Go ahead and pull the mag out. It comes with one mag. That's what they do now. It comes with one mag, and it is empty. Comes with a lot of nice features. We're going to get into that in a minute. Let's talk about the box just a second. What's in the box? This is kind of important. I did not know when I bought this gun. I'm not going to go through all the paperwork. When I bought this gun, I did not know that it was an optic ready gun. I didn't do a lot of research like I normally do on guns. I got kind of excited. I saw it. I decided I wanted it, and I bought it pretty quick. But after I ordered it, I noticed on the website for Springfield Armory that they offered a special optic system that you could add a red dot. And man, I thought, what a nice thing that'd be on 1911. I wish I had got that. Well, when the thing came in, lo and behold, there it is right there. It's called an A.O.S, Agency Optic System. Agency is Agency Arms is the company that makes this rig, the adapter plate that's going to go on there. So when I started looking at that, I thought, man, I bet you those are going to be expensive because they don't come free. And sure enough, they're $129 for the little adapter plate that goes right here. And it adapts it for Holosun, which is the most popular, and other ones you can use. But I thought, man, $129, that's kind of high. And then I opened the box, and look what was in the box. They give you this. You've got this code that you can use, and they will save you $80 on that little adapter plate. So when you get with the A.O.S system and order it directly from Springfield, I guess you can order it from them, and it will save you 80 bucks. So my little adapter plate is going to cost me $49. So keep that in mind. Most people just throw the box off to the side. They say, I don't need that, I don't need that. So, but you needed to know that. You needed to realize that when you get ready to mount optics on here, if you buy an A.O.S system, you can use that, utilize that from Springfield, and save yourself $80. $80. That's like this is like four $20 bills laying in your box. Keep that in mind. So let's get the box out of the way. Enough about the box. We can put the little satchel back there. That satchel's a nice little thing, nice little case. It's designed for magazine. You put a magazine. You put 2 magazines in there probably if you wanted to. Keep from scratching your gun up. And then that's got the nice L shape there, so you could do that. Put another mag there if you had one. Lay that like that. Let me see if I got another magazine. I bet I do. Off another gun. Pull that out. I got guns laying all over the place. So there's another magazine. So you can put 2 magazines in there. There's 2 mags. Not getting the gun scratched up. And there's the nice L shape you see there for the pistol. So now you could have 2 mags there. You could have 1 in the gun. And you could be ready to do some pretty serious duty, go on duty somewhere and get some work done. I like to zip them like that with 2 zippers in the middle, and it just seems to work better for me. I don't have to chase them. And that's a nice little carry case. You want to go to the range with that, or maybe just throw it in your truck, in your car, in the trunk, or maybe in the center console. That'll keep your gun in good shape, and you don't have the big bulky plastic case. This is actually more convenient. So liking the little bag that they sent it with. Pretty nice little bag. So now let's talk about the gun. So the gun itself, let me get this out of the picture. Spare mag. Get that out of the picture completely. The gun itself, I do an evaluation on these when I first get them, and this one was pretty rough. We'll talk about it here in a minute, but it was, I'll just tell you, when I went to cock it, it was very, very rough. I mean, everything about it just felt rough. Felt rough in my hands. It just, when it cocked, it felt like you were grinding something, man. It just felt really rough. So I wasn't real happy with that, but I thought, well, we'll go into it and see what it is. So I took the gun all apart and found out that there were some items inside that were rough. We'll look at what those are here in a minute. The main thing was the slide itself. Whoever builds these, they do a match job where they match the slide to the frame and make those match together. and they take an electric pencil, an electric engraver, and they engrave the center part of this slide inside the slide on the flat rail in there, and it makes some pretty raised marks in there. So I just took some 1200 grit sandpaper and sanded that down flat, and that got rid of some roughness. So that made me feel a lot better. It probably would have wore over time, but I wanted to get it out of the picture right away. Also, I shoot light loads here on the farm, so I did put in a progressive spring. It had probably an 18 or 20 pound recoil spring, and I have dropped this down to a 12. So it has a 12 pound recoil. I want that spring to be really easy for me to cycle the slide on. And like I say, I shoot light loads. I shoot a round that's about 750 feet per second. Heavy ball ammo, still gets the job done. It's going to be my personal protection gun. I'm not shy about that. I don't have to have super magic hollow points to get the job done. I just shoot ball ammo, hit center mass. Very, very low chance that I'll ever have to shoot at a human being. I hope I never have to do that. So I will set this up as a target gun. I'll become very proficient with it. It probably will wear a nice hollow sun on the top of it, and it will get the job done. This is going to be my E.D.C. everyday carry. So let's talk about what an everyday carry should have on it for me. Now you might want something different, but these are the check marks, the boxes that I have to check for my everyday carry. Number one on the list, I want it to be a 1911 design. Some people like the new Hellcats and the XDs and the Glocks, all the plastic guns. You're welcome to have those. If you want plastic guns, go buy you some plastic guns. I'm a 1911 man. I like them. They get the job done. They're very dependable. People that have reliability issues, they don't know what they're doing. They don't realize sometimes these have to have the extractor tuned, or they've got the wrong magazine, or they're shooting the wrong ammo. If you take a factory mag that's designed with this gun, or one of high quality that's been well proven, it'll shoot reliable over and over and over again. This looks like a Chip McCormick. It could be a Metgar. It could be a I think it'd be Chip McCormick or Metgar. That's what comes to mind on this, the way it looks, the design of it, the polish of the stainless and everything about it. So I don't know who makes that, but Springfield doesn't make their own mags. But good, reliable mag. Shoot it, prove it out, make sure it works good first, and then get you some good ball ammo that'll profile good in the gun. And then make sure your extractor is tuned where it will hold a live round in there. In the slide by itself, I just roll it in there, make sure the extractor claw will hold that round, rotate it around back and forth. And once you get all that done, extractor's tuned, right ball ammo, right magazine, that gun is one of the most dependable guns in the world. So that's why I use the 1911 design. So we'll mark that off the list. Next thing on the list is got to have 45. Say, why 45? They don't make 46, that's why. 45, I need 45, that's what I need. 45 ball ammo, lots of it. That gun is designed to shoot ball ammo, and I like it. That's what I shoot. It works, it gets the job done. Say, can you shoot a 9mm? Yeah, I can shoot a 9mm, but I prefer 45. 45 is superior to the 9. It punches a bigger hole. It is famous for having very good penetration. You don't have to worry if somebody's wearing thick leather jackets, thick winter clothing, and have to shoot through the arm, through a bone, through a jacket on both sides, and then the body jacket and all that. It will just wad up a hollow point. It will stop a little 9mm, a leather jacket, and a bunch of duck down and all that, some winter clothing. That hollow point's just not gonna perform. So I want 45, I want ball ammo, well proven, got 100 years worth of history. Don't have to have an argument about that. It just works and works and works and keeps on working. So 45 ACP, got that marked off the list. The next thing that I wanted for E.D.C, and I've carried a lot of guns through the years, but I wanted one that was fairly lightweight. So that means it needs to be aluminum. So let's take a look at that. get this box of bullets out of the way. Let's see about lightweight. Break out the old man cave sign here. Get some dust of the road off the scales. I don't want to weigh the dust, I just want to weigh a pistol here. Let's take a look at this pistol and see what it weighs. Power up. Let's have the pistol only, no magazine. Put it off to the side. And let's see what that's set up for. Pounds and ounces. I want that to be ounces only. Fluid ounces. Okay, it's not fluid, but that's the way we're going to measure it. Want to see the ounces, and we'll set this down very gently. I want aluminum frame. I want my gun to be fairly lightweight. Look at that, coming in at 27.1 ounces, and with the one factory mag, only comes with one from the factory. I wish they'd send out about 3 or 4, but it comes with one. And look at that, we broke below 30 ounces. I like that. Now, if you had this gun and it was a government size and had a full government frame made out of steel and all that, you'd be way up into the 40, 41, 42 ounce. So that's fantastic. That 27.1 for the gun with the mag. You got to do this carefully. 29.5. That's pretty accurate scale too. I've calibrated that and used it for doing all kinds of nuclear testing. So we're under 30 ounces, and that's good. That's good. We met that criteria. So we'll get this out of the picture, get the gun back, just the gun and its mag. Put it like that, just like that. That's beautiful, man. That's a beautiful gun. They have a beautiful bluing. I have to take good care of that. That bluing is just really nice. Got nice laminated rosewood grips. Those things are beautiful. Okay, so lightweight, we'll knock that off the list. The next thing for my E.D.C is I want it to be commander size. Commander size is becoming very popular. Glock has built the new 19X, and it has taken the gun community by storm because it does something very cool. With a 19X Glock, what they do is they give you a full-size grip of the Model 17, and then they put a 19 size slide on the top. So you got a big grip on the bottom and a short service grade on the top, around 4" or so, and you end up with the 19X. Well, guess what? That's commander size. Except this is a real pistol made out of steel, and you don't have to have the little soy boy plastic Tupperware pistol. You can have an actual man pistol, or a woman. If you're a stout woman and a real woman, real person, you can have one of these. I have seen several women that are very good with the 1911 pistol. It'll get the job done. Commander size is just very handy. Just everything about it is, it's the exact same size government grip that you've got on your old GI from 1911 that all the Army boys carried for almost 100 years. So you've got a great size grip, but you've got that 4 1/4 inch barrel. Just by taking 3/4 off the snout there, it just makes the gun a little easier to handle. So lightweight, commander, the lower frame, everything that you see here in blonde, what I call silver, is aluminum, and that makes the gun lighter. So that's great. Mark that off the list. What next? This has a match barrel in it. That's something that I really wanted too. I wanted a good quality matched barrel, and in this case, we'll take it apart later and show you, but this is a matched barrel, and it is a ramped barrel. It's not the standard GI barrel. It has a stainless steel ramp in the barrel itself, so that when that, since this is a short gun, when that bullet goes up and starts to hit the feed ramp, it's not hitting the frame of the aluminum. That's something you got to be careful of on an aluminum gun. You don't want your bullet hitting that aluminum because it could damage, in theory, could damage the aluminum over time. So Springfield Army was very wise. They went ahead and put in a match grade, heavy duty, cold hammer forged stainless steel barrel, but it's got the big ramp. We'll take it apart and look at that later. But that way your bullet's actually hitting into a stainless steel forged ramp of the barrel, and it is fully supported, meaning this is plus P rated, and you're not going to have any problem with your shell bulging out the bottom like it can on a Glock. It does that because they're unsupported chambers on the Glock. This one can shoot plus P ammo, and no problem whatsoever with a good match grade stainless steel, heavy, fully supported match grade stainless steel barrel. Okay, the next thing that I wanted on my gun is I wanted a good sight system, and that would be a fiber optic sight. So they did that for me. They came up with a really good quality sight system on this. I'm gonna go ahead and put this forward so you can see that. It has the fiber optic, and they kept the fiber optic nice and small. So you want a small dot when you're trying to do precision work. When I'm on the farm and I want to use this for a target gun, you can use that for target work. They went with a black serrated. It's got the little lines on it in the back, keep the sunshine from making a glare, so it's a glare-free sight system. And also this is a tactical rear sight, meaning it's a heavy steel sight, and then they machined a 90-degree angle on that so that you can catch that on your boot or on your belt, if you have a heavy-duty belt, or on the edge of a desk or something, to cycle the slide. Now, I don't have to do that too awful much, but if you wanted to, that is plenty stout enough to be able to cycle your slide and put your next round in there. You can do it, I'll show you with a mag there like that, and you can see that on the rear sight. Pull it to the rear and then let it go, and there you go. So that's another option that they give you, and this is really designed to be a carry gun. So I like that. Very good quality sight system. So I'll start off with that. The next one that I wanted was, and this came as a bonus, I really did not know I was getting it, but I do like it. I wanted the A.O.S. So the A.O.S, that means I can take these two screws off right here. Let's see if I can get that where you can see it. These two screws can come out, and then this adapter plate or plate cover will come off, and that will also pull this off on the rear. Your rear sight would come off. Notice that it is dovetailed into this small cover plate. So by taking those two torque screws out, that will pull that whole dummy cover plate and rear sight off, and then you get with Springfield and get your A.O.S adapter plate. It's going to screw on here, and it will fit the gun exactly perfect. And then you can mount the Holosun sight on top of it, the Holosun of your choosing. So that's a nice thing to have. The next thing I wanted for my E.D.C is I wanted a two-tone gun. So that's exactly what we got here. We've got a nice two-tone. This is the lower here is a nice Cerakote. This is aluminum, but they Cerakote this to make it kind of look like it's stainless steel, blonde, white, whatever you want to call it, but it looks like stainless steel to me. And that's a beautiful thing, to have that light stainless steel lower, and then to have the nice black upper. This is that good cold, they call it a hot salt bluing. And this is you see the little symbol right there says RONIN. That's the name of this gun. But the striking contrast between those two is really something. Then a black trigger. It's got some stainless looking controls. Got the Delta hammer, the slightly extended thumb safety, which I really like. Your thumb just has a tendency to rest on that as you're drawing the gun out. Thumb safety be up like that. And as you come out of the holster, your thumb is going to just feel very happy to be right there, and you get ready to shoot, that trigger finger straight. You just roll it out and start coming down, and then you've got a nice place to kind of rest your thumb on, and you leave a little gap there. That means that slide can come to the rear and not going to hit your thumb. So your other thumb can come up underneath it like that, and you've got a good strong grip on the gun. And that's just a good look, man. Overall, it's a very, very nice looking gun. So I'm real happy with that, with the two-tone. And just the black and the stainless together, and then the rosewood grips. These could use a little bit of oil. I'll show you how nice these are. I use this Rig gun grease. It's a really nice product. I use that on all my rails. It holds up a lot better than just regular oil. But it's also good for good wood like that. You can take a wood like that rosewood, and give that a little coat of that gun grease, and get it down where they've cut the checkering on there. It'll kind of soak into that wood a little bit, and that'll protect that wood, man. It'll keep that wood from getting sweat in it, getting any other body oils in it, any water. If you're carrying this gun constantly, you got sweat up against your body, and it will want to try to leach and get into that wood. So if you put you a thin coat of that Riggs Universal Gun Grease, I love it. I use it on everything except my cornflakes, and just wipe off any excess like that. And look at that, man. That's a beautiful thing right there. Laminated, that means multiple layers like plywood. Laminated, they probably did the 90-degree back and forth angle to keep it really strong. Laminated rosewood. Got the cross cannon right there to let you know that Springfield did the work on it. And I'm telling you, I have bought a lot of 1911 pistols through the years, and almost always, without exception, I have a tendency to look at the grips and say, well, you know what, we could replace those grips. There's just something about it. I want to customize it. I say, oh, I can find some grips that are a little bit prettier. Look at that grease, man, on that hot salt blue. Golly, that looks nice. So I tend to replace my grips. Every time I buy a gun, I'm like, well, I better go get me some VZ, get me some G10 grips or this or that, you know, and that's the first thing I think about. Not on this gun. This Ronin right here, this thing is so beautiful. It's got that nice bluing on the top. It's got get some of that grease down there. They did kind of a blast on this. It's a rough finish on the lower and on the upper to keep from having the glare. They kept that a little bit rougher. That's okay. They don't bother me. And boy, I'm careful with that side though. I don't want to scratch that. I want to keep it in good shape. Even though it's an everyday carry, I'm always careful when I put that slide stop in there. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But that's just a beautiful look. Let me check my camera. I want to make sure I'm dead center so everybody gets to see that thing. We're going to zoom in a little bit on that. I've got myself way out there. Let's zoom in on that thing a little bit. I'm going to turn off my spotlight. It's a little bit bright. That gun is so shiny, it doesn't need that extra spotlight. Let's see if we'll zoom in a little bit more. All right. Now we got it zoomed in where you can really see it. That is so bright, I had to turn off the spotlight because it was putting a little bit of a glare on things. But wipe some of this grease off here. Man, I got that bluing looking. It's almost too nice. And then I got a little bit of grease on that. Get that excess off. And knock the shine down. That thing's too nice to carry, man. I'm going to be limited. I won't be able to carry that just everywhere out in public because people will see it and they'll say, man, I got to have that thing. People will be trying to rob me, take my gun away because it looks too nice. I carry it into Walmart. And people walk up to me and say, hey, where did you get that? Where did you get that nice looking rig? You put that in a piece of leather. Let's see what it looks like in some nice leather too. Golly. Got that? Let's put this. Here's one thing you want to do. Always make sure your thumb safety's on, because when you shove it down in the holster, you don't want your slide to operate. So that's what you do like that. Oh, I say I don't have any grease on this side. Let's do that. We'll get the grease on there, on the grips. But just a little bit right there. I want those to soak up that rosewood, that laminated rosewood. I don't want it bare wood. You don't want to do that. I want that blue to be bare. Wipe that down. Let's see if I'm still in the center of my camera. Zoom that out just a little bit. Okay, that's a beautiful thing right there, man. That is an everyday carry. Looks are important to me. I mean, you can do a lot of different things with a gun, but you buy you a plastic Glock and you strap that thing to your hip, it's going to look like a piece of plastic. It has no soul, it has no character. There was no metal involved in making it except for the top of the slide and the barrel. The rest of it is plastic Tupperware stuff, and it just doesn't look like much to me. This is a nice look. It's extremely dependable. It's rugged. It'll get the job done. You put it on your dash in the hot summer sun, and it's not going to melt like a crayon and run down your vents like a Glock would. It'd be like melted like peanut M&Ms or something like that. Just going to melt and run down in the vents of your car, and be like Tommy Boy when the peanuts went down and it just melted down the vent of the old Dodge. So we don't want to do that. Get you a good solid steel gun. Get some laminated rosewood grips, some heavy duty leather, and man up, get a man gun, and you just be a lot happier. So the two-tone look is good. That's good for me for everyday carry. I also wanted a strong side safety. That's important to me. I want a strong side safety only. Let's get that back like that. Strong side safety, one piece. When you get an ambi safety, they're okay. I mean, if you gotta have an ambi, you're a left-handed person, and I'm not gonna make fun of left-handed people, don't worry. My wife is a left-handed person. She's just sweet as can be, but she's left-handed, and she has an ambi safety on her gun. I don't like them for me. I don't like them because when I take that gun apart for some reason, and I want to fiddle with the sear spring, the hammer spring, and all that stuff, I want to take it all the way apart. I want to be able to pull one piece out. So I want a strong side safety, one piece thumb safety, which means when you turn the gun over and look at the far side, all you're going to have, there's the safety, you're going to have a stubby pin right there, and that's what holds your grip safety in place. And that's all I want. I don't want a flag over here. I don't want something messing with this grip where it has to be machined out. I don't want none of that nonsense on my gun. I just want a good, strong side safety, just like the old combat guns, 1911, like John Moses Browning designed it, and nothing extra after that. Just a good, strong side thumb safety. I like the little sweep to it, and they also got the plunger right. I don't have to get in with Wilson Combat and buy me a heavy-duty, extra heavy-duty plunger spring. They got that spring right. It's a good, crisp thumb safety. So it does what it's supposed to do, and doesn't leave a great big hole down below it, which is great. And it's great. They did it exactly like it's supposed to be. So thumb safety on. I got it cocked and locked. So I write that off. Got that done. Single strong side thumb safety. I marked that off the list. The next thing that I wanted was a high ride beaver tail. Now that is important to me because when you're carrying a 1911 and you're going to use it for daily carry for a fighting pistol, you want that where that hammer cannot get the meat of your hand. If I'm getting in a battle, in a fight with somebody or something, even if it's imaginary, whatever, I just don't want that hammer to be able to bite my hand. So that high ride beaver grip lets me get my hand up in there high, which also reduces the amount of felt recoil. You don't have as much muzzle flip. So when you shoot that gun, your wrist is locked good. You got a good stout steel wrist, nothing wimpy there. You don't want a wimpy wrist. If you get a wrist that starts going, wah, that you don't need to be carrying a gun. So you got a good strong wrist, it's locked, you've got it ridden up high, up close to the bore. Now when you shoot that 1911, that gun's going to kick straight back in your hand. You're not going to have any of that crazy. I see people shoot guns on the internet all the time on YouTube, and I see the gun just going boom, boom, and they just let that muzzle flip. Man, you just man up on that thing, get a good solid grip, keep your hand up on it high, lock your wrist, grip it like a man, like you're serious about things. Take that safety down, and when you fire that thing, everything will just stay, it'll just stay straight. Your wrist will go back and forth. There's no reason for that gun to be riding up and going out of control. You do that, you need some practice. You need to spend some time on that gun and learn how to grip it. Get you a paper route, man. Get you a paper route and roll about 300 to 400 papers every day. And the next thing you know, you will have that grip that you're wanting. So you do that about 300-400 times every day, and pretty soon, when I was a little boy, I had a paper route. I drove a car, a little Toyota, 1974 Celica GT. It'd do 105 miles an hour. Drove every day down a back road out in the country, and I delivered 350 papers. And you roll those 350 papers, you could meet a man out on the streets and say hi to him, walk up to him, shake his hand. You could make him bend at the knee a little bit because you'd been doing that 300 times a day or more. Actually, when you roll the paper, you do it about 5 or 6 times on each paper. So if you did it, let's say 3 times on 300 papers, that's 900. Next thing you know, you've done that 1,000 times. 1,000 times of gripping. So that's why I don't get in a big discussion with people about this right here. Say, boy, I need 20 lines per inch or 25 or 30 line per inch checkering and spend an extra $100. I don't need that. I've got a grip. When I get a hold of something, it's got some lines right there. But man, when I get a hold of something, I've got it. I don't have to worry about whether it's got skateboard tape or, you know, how much filing can you do, how much money can you burn. I don't need any of that. It means nothing to me. I carried a 1911 when I was in the Navy, and we didn't know what lines per inch checkering, LPI, we had no idea what that was. It meant nothing to us. So, next thing that I wanted to have, let's see if I'm still in the screen. I wanted to have a Delta hammer. That doesn't mean that you get to work with Delta in the Army. That means it's the shape of a D. I think that's what that means. So there's the hammer. Let's take a look at that. Let it go forward. And the hammer is a Delta hammer. It's a D shape. See that D? Shaped like a D. And I love the way they did this, because look at this. Watch this. This is really cool. They made that where that hammer sits down and has a resting home. It is sitting down deep in that high ride beaver tail, and it just looks good, man. Now, sometimes when you open carry, I have had this happen to me. Somebody will walk up and they'll say, hey, your hammer's cocked. And I'm very polite to them. I don't say anything stupid. You know, they say, is that dangerous? I say, yeah, it's supposed to be dangerous. It's gun. I don't talk to people like that. I don't see the need to do that. I'm not trying to impress anybody with my testosterone or, you know, how tough I can be. I tell them John Moses Browning designed this pistol in such a way that the thumb safety can only be turned on into safe mode with a hammer to the rear. Now, in the store, I don't pull it out of my holster and show them and put the hammer forward and aft and all that. You don't do all that. Just tell them you can only put the safety on when it's cocked. So it is called cocked and locked. That's standard operating procedure for the 1911 pistol. You put one in the chamber so it's ready to fire. You cock the hammer back and you put your thumb safety on. So now I have 3, I tell them this, if it's a little old lady, I'll tell her, I've got 3 safeties on this gun. Actually 4 total. Say, what are they? Here's the safeties on this gun. This is how safe a 1911 is. Number 1 safety, I've got that trigger completely covered with the holster. This is like a big bad dog on the front porch. As long as you don't mess with him, he will sit there on that porch, big old German Shepherd, big black one or sable, and he will just sit there. He's not going to bother anybody. Now, you start messing with him or mess with his owner, he's going to come out of the holster. So, safety number 1 is you have to clear leather. Safety number 2, you've got to be able to have a grip on the gun. Safety number 3, you got to be able to take that thumb safety off. Safety number 4, you got to pull the trigger. So 4 things have to happen on a 1911 for that gun to go off. I am not going to worry about that gun accidentally going off. It's not going to happen. That thing is safe, man. 4 different things have to happen in sequence for that gun to fire. So when it's on my hip, just like it sits right there, that's about as safe of a gun as you're going to get in this world. Much safer than an XD or a Glock or a VP9 or a PDP or a PPQ or anything else that you want to list, striker guns. This one is safer than all those other guns put together. And that includes the SIG 320 that has been known to go off when you just are carrying the gun around. They've got lawsuits depending on people that have been shot by that gun. So I like this setup. It's got 100 years of track records plus on it, and it's well proven. So there's the Delta Hammer, got that covered. I also wanted to have a mil-spec guide rod, meaning not a full-length guide rod. So it's got that. It has a regular mil-spec guide rod on it. That magazine, it's excited. It jumped out, try to join the picture. Mil-spec guide rod, that means it's a short guide rod in here, then the spring, and then the end cap that covers the spring and holds it in place. Short guide rod right in there. It makes it easier to take the gun apart. And when I'm doing a nice tear down to do a field strip, clean it good, I want that. I don't want any special tools having to pull a full length guide rod. Have no need of those. You say, I like full length guide rod. Well, I studied the experts, and Jerry McCulloch knows a lot more about 1911s than a whole bunch of other people. And Wilson Combat, Mr. Bill Wilson, he's not a big fan of having a full length guide rod either, and he's designed and built a whole bunch of 1911 pistols that are $4,000 and on up, and so they don't use that. They just use a regular old GI guide rod. Works just fine, the short one. The next thing I wanted on my everyday carries, I wanted no forward cocking serrations. I do not want to take a classic beautiful gun and hand it over to the machinist and say, hey, could you put that thing on a vertical end mill and cut me a whole bunch more? I really like to have this cut up a bunch more right up here. I need that. I need you to cut and cut and cut. Cut me some ugly cuts right up there on the front of that. Now your old GI gun, I'm tempted. I'm tempted. I've got to do this. Run off in another room, lose my mind here for just a second. I want to show you something now. Watch carefully. Here we go. We're going back to GIville here just for a second. Watch this carefully. Look at that. See that old GI? See that old GI gun? Look at that thing. Do you see any forward cocking serrations on that John Moses Browning built in? So that's got a gold front sight. Yeah, I painted that. But do you see any forward cocking serrations? Where's the cocking serrations on this gun? They are right here where they're supposed to be. That way when you put your hand up there and you go to cock that gun, pull it to the rear, that thing may be loaded. Ooh, that's loaded, see? That's a real gun. Put that safety back on. Cocking serrations are rearward like that, so you can do a press check on it. Let's get that out of the picture. How about this one? Where's the cocking serrations? They're on the rear, right where they're supposed to be. So I want to pull that gun to the rear. I just grab it right there, open it up. Look at that. Buttery smooth. So that's where the cocking serration's supposed to be. There's no need to be printing them all over the place. That's just extra machining, extra cost, and it does nothing. Now some people got it in their mind that they've got to put their hand up there on the front of that gun to cycle it. I do not want to have my hand on the front of that gun. That gun's loaded, and I want to check it and see if it's got any live rounds inside the gun. The last thing, this is me now. You can do this however you want to do it. Your gun, your time. I do not want my hand up here. I don't want to be grabbing up here where that bullet, see, that bullet comes out and it gets real loud and there's fire comes out there and bullet comes out that hole. So I am not, personally, I'm not going to put my hand up here anywhere around that area. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put my hand back here where you're supposed to, where it was designed by John Moses Browning, and I'm going to pull back like that and look, and if I can see some brass that I know it's loaded, then I let it go. Make sure it goes back in battery. Springfield does have a little notch cut in the barrel that you could look down there, but my eyes are not good enough to see that microscopic hole and look down in there. I want to be able to look like that and see a piece of brass. That's just better off to do that. So no forward cocking serration. Say, man, you really kind of serious about that, aren't you? Yep, I am. That's extra machining and extra ugly. I don't want it. So what else? Okay, I want the gun to be 30 ounces or less, plus or minus 2 ounces, and I think we already established that. Let's go ahead and weigh it again, though, since I'm on that subject. We'll go ahead and weigh the gun real quick again. Let's put this, turn it on. We want to be 30 ounces or under. Let's see what we got here. 27, let's turn this where it looks prettier on the camera. 27.1 ounces. Zoom that out just a skosh. Look at that. Pull this down a little bit. Take it off again. Zero it. Make sure we're good. Zero. Try one more time. Ooh, look at that. 27.1 ounces. That's pretty good. So I want to be below 30. Let's try it with a mag. And we're at 29.5. 29.5. Yeah, we made it below 30. So that's great. We did what I wanted on that. That makes it qualify as an E.D.C. So let's put this back like that. All right, magazine, behave yourself. So that marks that off the list. Now, the last thing I wanted it to be a Springfield. Here's why I wanted a Springfield, and I've got a whole bunch of other guns. I've got a bunch of T-SOS guns, which are nice. I got a Springfield target gun, one of the range officer targets. I've got a bunch of other guns, but I really wanted my E.D.C. to be a Springfield. Here's the reason why. Springfield has excellent customer service. If you have a problem with the gun, any kind of problem, you can call them up. They will email you a RMA package and give you your free FedEx printout right there. I mean, right there on the spot while you're on the phone with them. And you can box that gun up, Federal Express it to them. They will make the repair, no charge. Send it back to you. They'll take care of everything, and you'll be happy. They'll make sure you're happy. They're excellent with customer service. They answer their phones. They will talk to you. Some of the other companies, they're just not that good. Not good at all. I'm not going to name them because I don't want to get in trouble with those other companies that they might like me, they might not, but we're just not going to do that. Not going down that hole. So, but Springfield, excellent customer service. Their warranty response is not going to be beat by anybody. I bought a Springfield range officer target gun, and it was a used gun, and the rear sight fell off. I called them up. The nice lady dealt with me over the phone. She said, just give me your serial number. Gave her that, and she needed that probably to know which sight I needed, but she sent me out a complete rear target sight. Had the set screws, had springs, had everything I needed. And no charge whatsoever, and it came to my house in about 2 days, so I was very impressed. The quality of these guns is excellent. The reliability is excellent. I've owned several Springfields through the years, never had any of them fail or break on me. They do use MIM parts, but they've just about perfected that. I haven't had any of my MIM parts break. If you are a kind of a snob on MIM, you don't want to have them, you can go to Wilson Combat or Evolution Gunworks, EGW, Wilson Combat. You go to Chip McCormick. There's other companies that will make you a solid steel part, and you could replace your thumb safety, your hammer, your sear spring inside, your magazine release, your slide stop, your trigger, whatever. You can put in all standard steel parts in there if you're so inclined. But I just haven't had any parts fail on my range officer, and I've shot it a bunch. This one I don't have any time on it yet. But the MIM parts are okay. They have proven to be very effective if you do them properly. They don't take well to filing because they're kind of surface hardened, but they're good quality parts. And Springfield, if they didn't think that they would work good, they wouldn't be using them. They're good parts. There's no problem with them. And like I say, if you don't like them, if you feel like it's going to be more reliable or you want to use it more heavy-duty application, go ahead and replace your slide stop. Put a solid stainless steel, hardened, bulletproof one like Wilson Combat makes or something like that, if it gives you a little bit more confidence. So I'm not against that. So anyway, it met all my criteria. And I have gone through here already and done some modifications. I put in a lighter spring. I changed my trigger springs in here, just modified them, bent them a little bit, and got myself a nice 3-pound trigger, which is what I prefer. This one came from the factory with about a 5. I probably will change this out even though it's pretty. I just don't really want the holes in there. I think I'm going to put me a straight trigger. I do like the straight trigger because then no matter where you put your finger, the pull is always the same, and I'd like to have a stainless steel that's this color to match the gun, and a straight wall trigger, so when you put your finger on it, it feels just like a flat wall. So that's going to happen. The rest of it I'm going to leave alone. I like the flat back mainspring housing, it's fine. The grips are definitely going to stay. I love them, they're beautiful. Laminated rosewood, keep a little coat of grease on them, and they are very nice cosmetically, and good and stout too. So thank y'all for watching, and please, if you would, hit that like and subscribe if you learned anything on this, or it makes you maybe desire to have yourself a nice Ronin. The Ronin, you can look up the history on that, but that's the samurai swordsman from the Japanese days, and his emperor has been killed, and he is out running the streets on his own looking for work, and he is kind of not a rebel, but he's just a loner. He's just a high plains drifter. He's drifting with his sword, and he's looking for a job. And you buy yourself a nice commander size pistol like this, and you very well could be a Ronin out looking for work, even if it's in your mind. I mean, it could just be dreaming of taking care of business somewhere. Who knows what? You could be a security guard. Maybe you could be a police officer. Maybe you could join the military, go off and be a special forces and be a Ronin. So appreciate y'all watching this, and please click on some of those super thanks, man. Thank you to the Marine Corps. I've got Marine 1, I've got Mark the Marine, I've got different Marines that sending me some coffee money. Y'all are doing a fantastic job, man. You're keeping me in my Folgers Premium. I've got some Folgers Gourmet and a brand new coffee maker by Black & Decker. Does a great job. I'm keeping that black juice flowing. So thank y'all for sending me some super thanks. A little heart, you can click on that, do $2, $10, $20, whatever you feel like. But I will tell you thank you and name you out right here on the YouTube. Thanks to Mr. Mark, Marine number 1, and Mr. Mark. Those are my 2 Marine buddies, and we appreciate them. And again, thank you for $17.91 for the great gun leather. So look forward to seeing y'all on the next video. Over and out for now.